Hey there, YouTube. Korbie Nitiforo, traininginnovations.net with your nutrition tip of the week. Today, I'm going to talk about 5 reasons you're not losing belly fat. Reason number 1, you are consuming too many foods that are cooked in seed oils. Now, some of you may know what seed oils are, but for those of you who don't, seed oils are inflammatory oils that our foods are cooked in, like soybean oil, canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, those types of oils. Now you might be thinking, I don't consume any seed oils. Well, you'd be wrong. Just about every restaurant out there cooks in seed oils. They cook with soybean oil or some type of seed oil. As a matter of fact, comment in the comment section down below if you know of a restaurant that doesn't use soybean oil or some type of seed oil. Because you can actually request it. I mean, I've been to restaurants where I've requested, I say, look, can you cook my food in butter? And they will accommodate you a lot of times. But if you don't request it, they will cook it in soybean oil. So how do seed oils contribute to stored belly fat? Well, they are comprised of linoleic omega-6 fatty acids, which are highly inflammatory. And they actually create damage in the epithelial lining of your intestinal tract. So when you eat these seed oils or you consume these seed oils, they damage the lining of your intestinal tract, which creates inflammation. And when your body has inflammation in those areas, the body has a tendency to store fat more in those areas to try to protect itself. The second reason you're not losing belly fat is you're not getting enough sleep. Now, how does a lack of sleep contribute to stored belly fat? Well, some of you may or may not know the fact that your body actually burns fat while you sleep. Because when you get into those deep levels of sleep, your body releases a hormone called growth hormone. And growth hormone is a fat burning hormone. If you're not releasing growth hormone, you're not burning fat efficiently. And might I point out that your nervous system has quite a bit to do with this. Your nervous system has 2 parts. It has sympathetic, which is fight or flight. It keeps us alive under stress. And then you have parasympathetic, which is rest, digest, repair. Now, most Americans are constantly stressed out. It means your body's stuck in a sympathetic dominant state, which makes it hard for you to get into the parasympathetic. It makes it hard for your body to actually rest, digest, and repair. Now, when your body can't rest and it can't digest and repair, what do you think happens? Your body gets stressed out and releases a stress hormone, cortisol. Now, a little bit of cortisol is not bad, but when your body starts to oversecrete cortisol, an oversecretion of cortisol leads to stored belly fat. The third reason you can't lose belly fat is you are consuming too many processed foods. Now, what are processed foods? Foods that are found in a can, a bag, a box. Foods like breakfast cereal, chips, deli meat. The average American diet consists of 60 to 70% processed food. So how do processed foods contribute to stored belly fat? Well, the chemicals they put in the processed foods to give them a longer shelf life, chemicals like nitrates, nitrites, butylated hydroxytoluene, all these chemicals are toxic to our bodies. So when you consume these chemicals, they create inflammation in your gut. And like we talked about earlier, when you have excess inflammation, you get stored excess belly fat. The fourth reason you're not burning belly fat is lack of exercise. Now, what do I mean by that exactly? The most exercise the average American gets is their walk from their house into their garage to get in their car to drive to work, spend 8 hours working a sedentary job, and then they get back in their car, drive back home, get out of their car, walk back into the house. You know, this is much different than in other countries. Other countries, especially if you look at some of the blue populations, and these are populations that live to be over 100 years old, they are walking everywhere. You see 100-year-old men walking to the grocery store. Now you might be saying, Korbie, I actually go to the gym and work out after work, or I go for a walk. I walk the dog after work, and I burn some calories too. But we have a tendency to overestimate the amount of calories we're burning during exercise and underestimate the amount of time it's going to take us to get into great shape. I'll give you an example of this. The other day, one of my clients came up to me and she says, "Oh, I burned 1,000 calories a day on the elliptical machine." So I asked her, I said, "What did you do, 2 hours of elliptical a day?" And she says, "No, I did 45 minutes. My Apple Watch said that I burned 1,000 calories. So that's an example of overestimating the number of calories you're burning during an exercise session. I guarantee you, she didn't burn 1,000 calories doing 45 minutes on the elliptical machine. Now, this same client told me that she was wanting to lose 5 pounds a week over the next 4 weeks. Let me make sure and clarify something. A pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So in order to lose a pound of fat, you have to create a 500 calorie a day deficit over the course of 7 days. Now, for you to lose 5 pounds a week, it means you would have to create a 2,500 calorie a day deficit over 7 days in order to lose those 5 pounds. So this is a clear-cut example of how you underestimate the amount of time it's going to take you to get into great shape. If you're trying to lose more belly fat, I do recommend you increase the amount of exercise you're doing, but you increase it slowly over the course of several weeks. And be realistic of how long it's going to take you to lose that fat. It's not going to happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. The fifth reason you're not burning belly fat is too much refined sugar in your diet. The average American consumes 60 pounds of refined sugar a year. When you eat too much refined sugar, your body releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin is a storage hormone. It stores nutrients into our cells. Now, if you're the 18-year-old high school wrestler, it can be a blessing because the insulin is going to store those refined sugars into your muscle cells, which will help you perform better, help you build more muscle. But for the average American, as we get older, what happens is that those cells start to denature over time. And so by the time you get into your 30s and 40s, you can get what's called adult onset diabetes. It means the cells have become resistant to insulin. So those same refined sugars you were eating as an 18-year-old kid, when you eat them, your body's going to oversecrete insulin. It's called hyperinsulinemia, and it's going to store those refined sugars into your fat cells, creating more belly fat. So, if you know somebody who's having a hard time losing belly fat, share this video with them. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and you got some value out of this video, make sure you give it a like. Until next time, my friends, onward and upward. Korbie out.
Yeah, tastes like